How's it going, everyone? Welcome back into the channel. So there are two new signings by the Green Bay Packers, one that happened yesterday on the defensive side of the ball and one that happened a couple minutes ago on offense. So in today's video, we're going to go over the two new signings by the Green Bay Packers. If you happen to be a new viewer here and want more Packers news, analysis, and updates every single day, you'll find it all here, everything Green Bay Packers on this channel. So go down and click subscribe if you haven't already. So first, let's go over the newest signing, the one that happened a couple minutes ago, and it was actually put out by the player himself. The Packers have signed running back Kenyan Drake. Now, he posted a tweet basically showing a Packers logo and his number and his name, so we all can assume that he is signed by the Green Bay Packers. He also posted a GIF of Brian Baumgartner in Packers gear, so again, more just inferring that he has signed with the Packers. Now, this isn't officially announced yet. I'm sure we'll get that announcement a little bit later from a beat writer or the Packers themselves, so we don't officially know if he's going to be either on to the practice squad or the official roster. My guess is it'll be a straight swap. They'll release James Robinson and sign Kenyan Drake. Maybe they just didn't like what they saw from James Robinson. He did get 2 snaps in that Chiefs game. That basically amounted to nothing. And another reason I do believe this is the case, because in Kenyan Drake's tweet, he writes number 32, and that's the number James Robinson has, and pretty much is the number every late season running back addition in the past the Packers have signed. Running backs like Tyler Ervin, Christine Michael, James Robinson a couple weeks ago, and Kenyan Drake all wearing number 32. Now, Kenyan Drake is a nice veteran add, in my opinion. He is still only 29 years old and has played on a lot of different teams. Was with the Miami Dolphins from 2016 to 2019. That was his longest tenure. Then was with the Cardinals 2019 to 2020. Then had short stints on the Raiders, the Ravens, and then most recently in 2023, during the preseason, he was with the Colts, didn't make their roster. Then he was just on the Ravens practice squad until October 17th, until he was released. Then he signed with the Cleveland Browns practice squad, where he was on that until November 28th. So he's still been on a practice squad and playing this year, so he's ready to go, and he's been on a team. So the Packers now likely signing him to either their practice squad or their active roster. Taking a look at his stats, Kenyan Drake has a long tenure in the NFL. In 2019, he ran for a total of 817 yards with 2 teams, and in 2020 he had his best year, so only 3 years ago, 955 yards and 10 touchdowns with the Arizona Cardinals. Drake is also a nice receiving back option. In 2018 with Miami, he had 477 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, and in 2021 with the Raiders, 291 yards and 1 touchdown, so he can be used in a multitude of different ways. Drake has a total of over 5,500 scrimmage yards in his career. Now, more importantly, I think this kind of gives us a hint more at Aaron Jones' availability and potentially not being available for this upcoming Monday Night Football game against the Giants. I feel if the Packers are going to be releasing James Robinson and signing yet another running back, a third guy behind A.J. Dillon and Patrick Taylor, that just more so points towards Aaron Jones not being ready yet. We'll likely not see him practice tomorrow, or maybe not at all this week, and if he does, it'll be in a very limited fashion, maybe Thursday or Friday, and he'll likely miss this Giants game and maybe be available for next week after that against the Buccaneers. So the Packers will still be running with A.J. Dillon, who had an excellent game against the Chiefs and has been really good this month so far. Patrick Taylor had a couple nice runs against the Chiefs, and Kenyan Drake, which I think he can offer a little bit of versatility in that backfield. Now, the other signing the Green Bay Packers made, and this was yesterday, they were awarded defensive back or cornerback David Long off waivers from the Panthers. So similarly to the Kenyan Drake relating to Aaron Jones, signing David Long might likely relate to Jair Alexander, again missing I think his 4th straight game against the Chiefs, where we all thought, okay, he's going to return in this game. He's been questionable, he's limited all week, yet he didn't play. So the Packers signing more depth at that cornerback room. David Long is a former 3rd-round draft selection in the 2019 NFL Draft from the Los Angeles Rams. Drafted from Michigan. He was actually a highly touted player in the 2019 draft. A lot of people had him ranked in the as high as the 2nd round. So this is another player that, you know, a change of scenery might help him. And if we look at his grades from PFF from this year alone in Las Vegas with the Raiders, he actually played pretty well in most of these games. We see in week 4 against the Chargers, he played 38 snaps, had a 73.5 PFF grade with an 81.2 coverage grade, only allowed 1 reception on 3 targets for 7 yards. Then we see against Detroit in week 8, You know, he only had 8 snaps, but a 77.8, and overall had a 68.5 for the 5 games with the Raiders. Then when he moved to Carolina, not as great PFF grades, but that was such a short stint in a new defense on a very struggling team, so I don't really, you know, hold that to too much weight there. We see, you know, he played against Dallas in week 11 and against Tennessee in week 12, where he actually saw 49 total snaps. David Long offers some depth in that cornerback room. The cornerback room that, you know, has been very light, but still performing well with Carrington Valentine at starting cornerback 1, Corey Ballantyne at cornerback 2, Keyshawn Nixon in the slot. Eric Stokes should be returning in the next week or two. They also have someone like Robert Rochelle and now David Long. So they're getting more depth in that cornerback room. And I think someone like David Long, you know, could be another hidden gem signing by Brian Gutekunst. I know I'm speaking early and we haven't even seen him on the field yet, and he might not even see the field unless some other injuries happen, but it seems like Brian Gutekunst finds these guys that, you know, were drafted highly, have, you know, good athleticism, have some games under their belt, but they simply got pushed out of a certain team or defense, very similarly to Devondre Campbell and Rasul Douglas. So those are the 2 signings the Green Bay Packers made yesterday and today. David Long was signed to the active roster. That much is official. We'll see a little bit later today if Kenyon Drake was either signed to the active roster in place of James Robinson or just signed to the practice squad. Nonetheless, if we head up into Monday and Kenyon Drake's on the practice squad, he likely will be called up as that 3rd running back going into that game. But that about does it for this video. I appreciate you guys coming by. If you did like it, please leave a like down below. It supports my channel a ton, but I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.